Olivia Samoka Taposa is interpreting in sign language. Let's take a look at stories making headlines. The president wraps up his 3-day visit to Germany with the top leading mechanical engineering companies. Members of Parliament from South Africa get together in Gaborone to discuss the effects of climate change. The men's one step closer to qualifying for WAFCON 2024 after beating Gabon 6-0. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Now, in our first story, the President, Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, and his delegation paid a courtesy call on the owner of Howie Hydric, Mr. Karl Hasken, who is also the president of VDMA Association of Mechanical Engineering Industry in Munich, Germany. Ms. Hasken commended Botswana for maintaining a sound fiscal policy which contributed to the country's stable economy. The two exchanged ideas on how Botswana industries can partner with hydraulic company. He also emphasized that the African continent is highly interested field of investment in the hydraulics industry. With Botswana being a country of choice, VDM represents the interest of Germany's large capital goods sector, including machinery, plants, system suppliers, and system integrators, among others.
Botswana is extremely eager to run in its growth. Against a number of unconventional odds related to what we want to do. We're fairly small in size, economic size. We're fairly small in population size, but we're potentially very impactful given our education. We're potentially very impactful given our youthfulness. We're potentially very impactful because relative to our population, our incomes are not too bad in terms of an ability to provide for learning and provide for tools, even at the government level. So that's some things that many in our continent of our size who would not afford as we would.
Communication is the key to cooperation. We have started our cooperation with Botswana a few years ago in the educational sector. We installed hydraulic training centers in Gaborone. It's a very successful project, and we experienced Botswana to be a very effective and productive place to be. And for us, it was first of all an honor to have His Excellency and First Lady here. And second of all, the exchange of information with the President and also with his team is helping us to better understand what Botswana needs and what we can do and how we can profit from the development in Botswana.
Botswana is keen on benchmarking the best practices and forging collaborations with German companies to use innovative ways of solutions in the production of goods. The President, Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, shared this when he led his delegation to Evum Motors yesterday. Dr. Matlaba Phiri has more.
Following his address at the Beads and Pretzels Founders Conference, President Masisi and his delegation toured Evum Motors, a company that manufactures electric cars suitable for African needs. This visit is in line with government's intentions of setting up an assembly plant for electric cars.
re anye ibile le bone ba tle ba khona go anya mo go rona tse eleng gore di amana le innovation.
This versatile electric car will meet the needs of Botswana.
Koloi e leng gore ka go dirwa ga yone e ka nna molemo le mosola thata mo balemi ba rona, e ka nna molemo le mosola thata gongwe mo Batswana ba etle ba nang le kgwebo e ba reng ba di dira tsa bo matshebanyana. Mme ebile re akanya gore e ka nna le mosola tota mo tirong tse re di akantseng tsa kago tsa ditsela e le gore Batswana ba ka di dirisa le Temper truck ya ka ba isupile mme e lekanetseng gore go ka bereka mo go tsone ditsela tse re tla beng re di dira tsa block paving. Ke sone se ne se re ngoka gore re tle go lebelela koloi ya go nna ya.
Meanwhile, the development of electric cars assembly plant in Botswana will empower Botswana as well as to create employment.
The co-founders of Evo Motors, that's the company which is building the vehicle, the A-car. The A-car was specially designed to be used on rough African roads. It gets sustained, big terrain, it's all-wheel drive and can transport up to 1 ton of payload.
We want at least the basic and assembly plant to be cool. And any component that we can actually manufacture home, such as the one I talked about in terms of a battery, we will be actually looking for components that can go into this vehicle. And the essence is for us to establish Bekwa. And probably initially, we'll look for a JV, a joint venture between a government entity and this private company, with the aim that eventually we want to sell these shares to businesses of Botswana.
However, this engagement does not end here, as President Masisi has invited these producers to Botswana Investment Conference to be hosted in October. Tlotlam Matlabapiri, BTV News, Munich, Germany.
Botswana says Germany is a good strategic partner to drive its economic transformation agenda through innovation and technology. This was overarching sentiment as President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi and his delegation wrapped up the three-day official visit to Germany. Tlotla Matlabapiri continues.
Trade relations between Botswana and Germany presents a good opportunity for growth and expansion. President Masisi shared the journey of Botswana's transformation agenda and where his government wants to take Botswana at the just ended Bits and Pretzels Founders Conference.
I think we have seen that startups have the opportunity to pitch, and then there are investors, there are private sector industry who are also looking to collaborate. It's a very, very well integrated system that as a country, we are not at that level. So we see a lot of opportunities even for the future, where our young entrepreneurs, can have exchange programs, including with, the German companies.
In addition to learning the best innovative practices from Germany, Botswana can leverage on the organized, solid startup ecosystem to enhance small, micro, medium enterprises.
Small companies here in Germany, they employ, more than 200 people or 250 people. And in our own definition, these are some of the large companies. So they are the right segment to target for investment attractions, because the decisions within the layering in the management roles is very spontaneous, and they can, when you engage them and share existing investment opportunities, they are quick to make such decisions compared to the multinational corporations.
Furthermore, entities like Botswana Investment and Trade Center continue to take lead into attracting investors into the country, as well as exploring global markets for Botswana. Tlotlam Matlabapiri, BTV News, Munich, Germany.
The Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Mr. Kgotla Utlwetsi, says mayors and district council chairpersons across the country should address some of the challenges that came about as a result of upgrading and merging councils. Mr. Utlwetsi made the remarks at the Mayors and Council Chairpersons Forum in Francistown. Bethany Mando has more.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development convened a forum for town mayors and district council chairpersons. The objective was to appraise them on national issues. Amongst the key of the priorities was the upgrading of sub-district councils to become fully fledged district. When addressing these delegates, the minister's message was very short and simple. His advice to them was to take services closer to the people.
Today we meet once more after an active 2022, when our ministry was actively at the height of transforming for the sole purpose of bringing service to the people faster, closer, and better. I am fully aware of the challenges that come with new changes, teething, budgetary, and resource-orientated. That is what make or break leadership. Your worth shall be judged against navigating all and deliver to Botswana services that change livelihoods.
Mo hatselana la Botswana re nna re bua gore batho pele motho pele ibile ke boikarabelo jwa rona go bona gore motho mongwe le mongwe o nna le tshiamelo nngwe le nngwe ya go tshelela mo hatselana la Botswana a sa tlhoke sepe.
This was an open discussion. Town mayors and district chairpersons also had their views, and some of the issues they raised was the shortfall of budget they are given to run their day-to-day activities.
Kgaolo ya boteti is very unique. E ka hantsi ka teng hela e dikgwetso dintsi. Jaanong tiro ya council go boteti intsi. Jaanong budget e re hiwang e nyenyane thata. Ga re ka kera go direla thomo yo ntse o re enela.
Re bua ka serisi. We don't have plans. The plans tsa rona ke ra tsone dikatakata le re dirisang. Di hitlwe ke nako. Ga rena madi a maintenance, ga rena madi a go hirisa.
Le hatsela rona ga lena madi. That you must understand. Matsana a leng teng a rata ra dirisa ka kelo thoko ka thekegelo ka manonthoto.
These leaders are said to be very important in driving government programs and policies, and it is not a surprise that the Chief of Staff shared with them the government's priorities on the mindset change.
Vision 2036 le bata boeteledipele ya district leaders tsatsi eno re na le bo council chair le bo le di mayor le ba kwaledi ba bone mme bone ba ba haba ke bangwe ba ileng gore ba tshwentse go nna ko pele mo gore jaanong ba ye go tsaya other district leaders le khanya go diversify economy kana isimolola go di council ward le khosi le VDC ba ne ba pitsa ba kgwebi ba ho ba ta go ba le kola ba tsa dikgang ba identify gore mo motseng mo kgaolong ye kgolelo ya dikgwebo e kaya kae ke di hidio tse re ba pile le tsone tse ileng gore re ka di dira bogwebi go godisa itsholelo go ya go 2036 go simolola go malwapeng go simolola mo dikgotaneng go mo ke moare change yo motona.
The Savings and Credit Cooperative Association Congress that will be held early October is anticipated to bring together 1,000 cooperative leaders from 35 countries. The Congress aims to foster collaboration and knowledge sharing, as well as tackle challenges that cooperatives face. Komisio Mapanyali compiled this one.
Cooperatives have been identified as a source of income for Botswana for many years. However, current trends suggest that they are not doing well, declining operation due to mismanagement being noted. Therefore, this Congress will pave way to re-establish them by building a strong relationship as well as looking for alternatives that will make the sector to become more stable.
Botswana is proud to showcase its vibrant cooperative sector, which has played a pivotal role in the country's socio-economic advancement. With a focus on empowering marginalized communities, fostering entrepreneurship and driving sustainable development, the cooperative movement in Botswana has become a catalyst for inclusive growth and poverty. It's worth noting that there are a total of 70 religious SACCOs in Botswana, with a net worth of 1.1 billion pula. This is $100 million US dollars, or 90, given the exchange rate. I think it's 90 million US dollars. This is an indication that cooperatives can effectively participate in cooperative transformation using the principle of cooperation among cooperatives. That does contribute to Botswana's vision of reaching high income status by 2036. By embracing the principles of cooperatives, we believe nations can make significant strides in fostering economic resilience and social integration, curriculum financial inclusion, bringing those that do not have formal employment. They are able to bank, they are able to access loans, and be able to also save their money for future use.
The aim is to resuscitate the operation of cooperatives to see them attain competitive status in the market, more so that they have been assured aid by other European countries.
Our register stands at 364 cooperatives. Of these, only 130 or 36% are active. 34 have been liquidated and 133 are dormant, whilst 67 or 18.4% are at the startup stage. So the Congress that is upcoming will come and help us in trying to resuscitate some of these cooperatives.
ACOSCA also strives to deepen the cooperative enterprise by collaborating with member nations to develop policies and business institutions for the benefit of all cooperative members. To attain its objectives, they implement national efforts in fostering rural-urban development through savings and cooperatives, thereby uplifting the standard of the people, particularly those in low-income brackets. And I must add, in the context of Africa, we consider Botswana not under the low-income bracket.
The public has been asked to support cooperatives as that they can assist in employment creation and improvement of the economy. Kumiso Mapanyani, BTV News, Gaborone.
Gaborone High Court Judge Zane Kibonan says the Attorney General's claim that Isaac Khosi is a personal friend of his twin brother Sadiq Kibonan is not a valid reason for him to recuse himself from a case involving the former Directorate of Intelligence and Security. Judge Kibonan highlighted this in his judgment, responding to the state's application for his recusal. Ungutile Tamagen Oabitsumpulubusi compared this one.
The state attorney Khoso Botlhole on Friday last week halted the court proceedings in a case in which Isaac Khosi has filed with the High Court asking to be given his guns back as he had acquired them lawfully, and that there's no reasonable basis for the continued detention of the firearms and licenses. In his submission, Botlhole has indicated that Judge Kibonan must recuse himself as Isaac Khosi is a long-time friend to his twin brother Sadiq Kibonan and was once co-accused with Khosi in the National Petroleum Fund scandal. And lastly, he once served as the chairperson of the Directorate of Intelligence and Security Tribunal. In his responding judgment, Justice Kibonan says the applicant's claim that Isaac Khosi is a personal friend to his twin brother Sadiq Kibonan has nothing to do with him, his court, or the subject matter of the proceedings before him, as he is not responsible for his brother or his keepers. On his chairmanship of the DIS Tribunal, which ran from 2016 to 2020, Justice Kibonan said he was appointed by the President of the Republic of Botswana, as it was the case with the appointment of Dr. Godfrey Radjeng to be the chairperson of the DIS Tribunal. Kibonan said for the past 3 years since he stepped down as the chairperson of the DIS Tribunal, he has dealt with cases involving DIS employees and have at no point been asked to recuse himself on account that he is the former chairperson of the DIS Tribunal. On the allegation that he was charged with Isaac Khosi on the NPF scandal, Justice Kibonan said it is not true since the state has failed to show any count in which he was charged. Ungutle Tamare, BTV News, Gaborone.
Members of Parliament from Southern Africa got together in Gaborone to discuss issues of climate change and its effects. The Acting Minister of Environment and Tourism, Mabuse Pule, said the main objective of this meeting was to come up with laws that will address issues of climate change as SADC members. Horata Maranyani compared this one.
Climate change affects people's livelihoods in different ways, especially the agricultural sector, which most countries rely on for sustenance. The conference is envisaged to engage and come up with long-lasting solutions to climate change in African countries.
Southern region, action items, how do we want to fight this climate change thing? Capacity melao e strong e lebagane le climate change.
The Southern African Science Services Center for Climate Change and Adaptive Land Management indicated that countries are burdened by the effects of climate change, continuously collapsing countries' economies.
go ama gone gore re ka nna le one temo e le goreng e ka re thusa mme ka re itse gore motshelo ja Motswana kana ja Maafrika go gae ya ka go lebile jana ke kganya gone gore Motswana o tshela ka gone kana mo Afrika o tshela ka gone go itemela a le ma 1 hectare nyana ga gantse mmidinyana ga go dinawanyana tsa go di ka motsesang gore a gone go ja mo lebalapa la gagwe hela jana mme yana go mo gape go le lebela gore go oketsega le gone gore go nne le go shota ga dijo mo lehatsheng ja ka re bona gore mahatsa a mua ka gone go shota ga dijo yana go hela go ama le gone gore a re ntse re le batho jana re bona
Meanwhile, countries are confident the conference will devise solutions for the outcomes of climate change tailor-made for the SADC region.
As members of parliament within the SADC region, we are going to share experiences and we are going to have our goals, our objectives, and we are going to have a planning.
The conference is set to end today. Khorata Moranyani, BTV News, Gaborone.
Ramotswa District Council Chairperson Mr. Zahid Jalal says the district has been allocated 3,750,000 pula, which will be used for road maintenance work as well as storm water drainage lines in Mokgobane. This was revealed at the Ramotswa District Council full meeting. Pel Puruhudu has more.
The allocated amount will be used to cater for maintenance of roads activities such as pothole patching, renewal of road markings, and also for road construction in parts of the district. Even though there has been slow progress on this activity due to grader, which has been on and off for the past 3 months.
The funds will be utilized in the purchase of premix, completion of line frame in Mokgobane, purchase of tools and equipment, installation of tower lights at Kilemogile, commonly known as Tamwe Kibidu, street light maintenance and engagement of local artisans and laborers for economic benefit to our communities. The procurement activities towards the implementation of the above-mentioned road maintenance works are at different stages.
Ramotswa district councillors are impressed with the developments in their respective wards and also have some challenges they encountered.
The project there, the transformational national development plan, e leng gore e tlela kgaolo e ka tsela ya 25 kilometers e leng gore ga boeletsela di street light gotlhe le this water drainage. Project ke project e leng gore e setse go bonala gore kana re setse re tsamaya ka mo go yone the tendering stage, some class consultation and design e setse se dipile.
Ke ratile gape le ka ha speaker Modlostilo se ne sa bua ka ditletlana tse di tshwanang le tsa tokahatso ya itsholelo ya dikgwebopotlana mo kgaolong goreng o di amile tsa ntlhatswa pelo le goreng go ya pele re ka ditokahatsa jang.
On other issues, gender-based violence remains a concern in the district. Therefore, the nation is encouraged to partake in helping fight against this anomaly, which is proving to be a drawback to the national transformational agenda. Pal Puduhudu, BTV News, Ramotswa.
You're watching BTV News and thank you for staying with us. Now moving on, residents of Tsau village in Ngami have expressed concern over the vacant post of headman of records in their village. The residents said this during a Khotla meeting addressed by their area member of parliament, Mr. Kata Higwama in Tsau. Lovemo Mario was there.
After identifying the need to have a headman of records at Tsau Khota, the residents then participated in a voting process in December last year to fill the vacant post. The residents say even though they voted for their preferred candidate to represent them, the post is still vacant, and this has now caused confusion.
Kana ke bereka bokete ga ti mothusi yo thopilwe ke setšhaba o tale
re ba kopa gore ba re dirile ka bona gore ha khama ditsora e ba tsa leina la khosi yo rena re mo ithopetse ba go le ba dikgwedi di kana go mahu gompieno a boga go boa go ntse yalo tota takitse e ntse yalo.
The Member of Parliament for Ngami, Mr. Kata Hikwama, said he is engaging the relevant ministries on the matter.
Ka bua ka ba sala morago gape gore a mme ga dia ba kangwa nya ki ba bua gore nya me re ta go neela karabo maloba ga ke simolodisa mosepele oneo ke re kana no ke simolotse ke a go araba batho ke go bara ke re ke bua le directora ke bua le tona ba nya pele ha o tsena go tsao ka di 21 karabo e tabe le teng gompieno ke dumela gore e motsileki gongwe jaaka mme mokuru a ta jana o na le karabo ya teng mme ke mo itogelele gore a to go nkaraba gore ya no ba tsile ka lekwalo la teng kana jang.
Tsau village falls under the administration of Kgosi Tawana Moremi II of Batawana, who recently promised to fill all vacant tribal posts for all the districts that fall under him. Lavmo Mario, BTV News, Tsau.
The Ministry of Education and Skills Development is working around the clock to make sure the process of decentralizing responsibilities on repairing and keeping facilities in good status is left to school heads. This was said by the Assistant Minister of Education and Skills Development, Ms. Naniki Makwinja, when officiating the Northwest Region Inaugural Excellence Awards held in Maung. Mpo Aaron reports.
It is the aspiration of the Minister of Education and Skills Development to provide quality education for all learners. Ms. Makwinja is of the view that this can only be achieved if employees give their utmost to deliver optimal output. However, a conducive environment where schools' infrastructure is in top-notch condition is a necessity.
Maybe procurement processes take long, but that does not exonerate us as leaders to make sure where we are, the children are safe, the teachers are safe. That doesn't exonerate us. So, head teachers, I know we have all the head teachers here. Please, let's go and protect the safety of our teachers and our children. If we fail you, because we are raising a very unhappy nation.
Our staff is our internal customer. Maybe our learners and our parents and their parents. We believe they are our main customers.
Member of Parliament for Mount East, Mr. Khurtatsiki Khonegile, advised the Ministry of Education and Skills Development to consider public-private partnership as an option to addressing some of the challenges they face in the education sector.
Yes, there might be challenges, but we have a responsibility to our children. Raiti, staff welfare issues, Raiti, facility issues, as elaborated by your visit to Mount Senior, for it's about time we reform. Make it tell hore hanseri dira jana ke gone ya ka re rotwetsa le ko leadership re drive the political will for change within the education sector.
Teachers' conditions are learners' conditions. As long as we provide the necessary conditions for teachers to excel in their work, you are at the same time doing what? Bringing about good performance, because the learners would learn in a very good and conducive environment. Hence our theme, which reads, happy employees, key drivers of results. #, we shall make it.
Meanwhile, top performers in the region were given certificates and cash up to 3,000 pula in the categories of Best Non-Teaching Staff, Best Subject Teacher, Best School Leaders, and Most Supportive Parents Teachers Association, to name a few. Mpo Aron, BTV News, Mau.
Now, Dr. Reverend John Seakosin said the heritage of the London Missionary Society needs to be preserved because it plays an important role in the economy through encouraging tourism. He said the heritage site needs to be protected and preserved as an artifact of the Christian faith in Botswana. Dr. Reverend Seakosin said this during a heritage walk in Tamaga recently. Budulo Mogorosi and Kiagetsi Mutsumi with more.
UCC's 18-kilometer heritage walk was held annual to sustain the historical missional activities of the church. According to Dr. Reverend John Seakosin, the role of the church in the country gaining its independence is noteworthy.
Bojana ba boako batho ba ba khatlhegelang go itse tlholego ya dikereke ya tumelo mo Afrika ba ya ko ke tiro e tona e le gore jaanong e butse the economy ya lefatshe la rona.
Re iphitlhela re le mo seemong se ka sone re na le mo re go bitsang re historical structures tse e leng gore di batlana le gore di bankanye gale le gale e se re kgotsa ra iphitlhela le gore tsone di-structure tsena e hetogile jaanong madirelo a dinotagi kana a hetogile jalo dibolaelo tsa batho.
With the disease and social ills ravaging the nation, the work was also used to incorporate screening for various elements and to also spread awareness messages.
Gompieno re lebagane le one malwetse a sa tshwaneng but e le kgantsa go tsogo ba tlhaloganye. Bolwetse bo bongwe bo bitswa Alzheimer's disease. Ke bolwetse bo e leng gore mo tlhaloganyong bo lebagane le go wa lebala e seng go lebala gore ke beile sela gale beno go lebala mo e leng gore tota o kgona go bua o mpolelela selo se le nngwe hela kgapetsa
go na le batsadi ba e leng gore ba rekisetsa bana tsone ditagi tsonetse batsadi ba bangwe gape ba dirisa bana go rekisa tsone ditagi tsonetse ra utlwana ke jaanong thuto e tswa rona mo go lona ke gore ela thoko segolobogolo jang bana ba sekolo a e re ngwana go a tswa sekolo o phuruputse school bag sa gagwe a kere phuruputsa ruma a robala mo go yone a kere
ga re simolola ke utlwe ka re a lapa mme a re ntse re tsamaya ke utlwa gore letsapa la hela mme gone mo ke bona gore siametse thata go itshidila ebile gore rutile gore tota re tshwanetse gore re nne re itshidila moso le moso ko gore motho o itshidile ka go utlwala gore mmele o ka nna le botsogo jo bo itumedisang.
Botswana may pledge to conserve archives of their respective religions as they can be used as a source of tourist attraction. Budulo Mogorosi, BTV News, Tamaga.
And that is the news this hour. Do stay with us. Liza Osaking on standby to give you the sport news. Good evening, Liza.
Good evening, Olibile. How are you?
I'm great. We've got good news coming in from the Mares.
Oh, yes. We are on a roll. The Mares are doing the things. We beat the team 6-0.
All right. I can see that they are one step closer to qualifying for WAFCON 2024. Yes. Good news.
Which means we are going to face a hurdle of Kenya.
All right.
Yes.
Get straight to the news.
Thank you so much, Ulibile Samoka. Good evening. My name is Liza Osekeng with your world of sport. And in our first story, the Mares are one step closer to qualify for WAFCON 2024 after demolishing Gabon 6-0 today in Lobatse Sport Complex to make it a 10-0 victory in aggregate. The goals came through Lesegora Diakanyo, Gaonya Diwe on Tlametsi's brace, Nancy Bailetsi and Kitumetse Ditebe in the first half of the match before Lone Fetoge closed down the score sheet in the last half of the game. Botswana will now face Kenya, who won against Cameroon through penalty shootout. Let's now take a look at the highlights.
Gore e re mo kalo bo la tela the second round a bo le gone gore ga ba tsenge dingalo tse di kalo tsa go ipitala ba nusitseno
ba ya tlanya le tloa le sego lash radiakanyo ke morajalo a kerekene the CPU ya the Mares ga nka go swabisa beke le beke ga o nyadiwe moniswana tse pedi ko Gabon a ba ya tanya le letloa moniswana tse pedi ka ko Gabon boaga pa ipoeletsa seboaboane fela morago ga metsotso e le mebedi ba kgona go bona nngwe gape the mess
o ipotsa gore go dire o ka tswa a dirilwe ke ngwana a dira
ba ya tanya le letloa ya boraro ya motshameko
ra le tlhaloganyo teo ya kgonang go e dirisa ka teng Lash Radiakanyo ke sengwe se
Nancy ba eletse motshameko morago
mme go lebelela gape the mess on the other hand
jaaka ba goroga the mess dithebe a ba romela kgwele 1 2 3 4 5 thola kgele a re bone lone onside the mess ya borataro up dozen lone ga fetoge.
Botswana delegation arrived in Cairo, Egypt today to attend tomorrow's Confederation of African Football CAF Executive Committee meeting. The delegation comprises representatives of Botswana Football Association as well as Botswana AFCON 2027 bid committee members. During the meeting, Botswana will make its presentation to CAF Executive Committee. All countries who submitted bids to host the AFCON tournament in 2025 and 2027 respectively are expected to attend the meeting. This afternoon, the BIDCO and BFA representatives met to strategize and finalize tomorrow's presentation.
It's very competitive. I mean, I think we've done a better job than most of the bidders in terms of what we have presented for CAF to look at. We want to host CAF in a world-class facilities, and our bid committee talks to that. It proves that we can really stage the AFCON in a world-class manner.
Meanwhile, local journalists who have been assigned to cover tomorrow's Confederation of African Football Executive Committee meeting expressed gratitude for being part of a historic moment of their careers.
Ke boela ko morago ka 2012 ne ke le ko Gabon. I think ne le nna hela megadi kgang wa wireless. So ka moso haraka wina kana tota haraka wina sta karekana. Go ka nna molemo mo go maswe ke tshwerelesego motho wa modimo. So la re ka moso re tsoga re itumela, and this will be a very, very, very historic thing for us as a country.
Ke tsono e tona tota gore re be re bone gore re hile tsono gore te kwame mme tota la ka utlwa go utlwala ga botswana ka wina gore ke boitumelo jo leng gore motswana mo go ga o tla itumela bogolo jang ka gore ra itse gore go wina mo gona go ka nna teng go tlo go dirang go le hatse diphetogo tse go tlo go tlang ka tsone go le hatse la rona le tshwana le infrastructure e tla buang ditlhabolo tse di kalo-kalokana
go supa kgolo mo tirong ya rona ga o ka gakologela sentle assignment ena bidi simolla go botswana ke simolotse le yone mme ke a itumela gore be ke le mongwe wa babegadi kgang ba e leng gore ke hilwe sebaka gore ha e tla go bokutlong e be le gore ke gare ga maswiti-switi ao tshwetso nngwe le nngwe e leng gore tla be le tsewa ke tla be ke le gane ke nna mosupi ke tsela gore ke itumelela sena ka gore ke kgolo mo begadi kganyeng jwa me ebile ke itumelela gore se ke se simolotseng ke na le sebaka sa gone gore ke se wetse mme hela ya ka Motswana ebile le nna ke rata kgwele ya dinao ke eletsa le ha sela Botswana katlego.
And still in Cairo, AFCON 2027 bid committee chairperson Ashford Mamelodi says they are ready for their bid presentation to the Confederation of African Football Executive Committee and believes that they have fulfilled all that is required to place them in a good position to stand a chance of winning the bid.
Re tlotse re kopanye le ba CAF re botsa dingwe dipotso gore tsamaiso ke eng ka moso mme ba re tlhalosetse gore ka 8 Maphakela nako ya Cairo Executive Committee ya bone tla be kopana go le la ntlha ba bona dipego tsa di-inspector ga ba ise ba di bone ka nna ene e rotlhe ba ene gore re partisana 2025 le 2027 re tla be re tsena yaanong mo holong e le gore anong e tlile nako ya di-presentation pela le ko gore gongwe re tla be re tlhe re presenta bangwe ba ntse ba le teng.
And now switching codes, Assistant Minister of Trade and Industry Beauty Manake says that the Orapa Half Marathon has committed itself to supporting former national athlete Onkabetse Nkobolo with a monthly allowance of 2,000 pula for 12 months as part of their efforts to recognize and support former sports personalities. Honorable Manake highlighted this yesterday at a media launch program held in Gaborone. Tlamelo Munsusi with the report.
Honorable Beauty Manake says the money will be used by the former national athlete Onkabetse Nkobolo to pay his caregiver. The former 400-meter star was involved in a car accident that left him crippled back in 2019.
The Orapa Half Marathon has committed to supporting him for the next 12 months with a monthly allowance of 2,000 pula, which I think is a very noble gesture that you are doing, especially coming from a club and not a big organization. We would also partner to see how much we also raise in supporting him through different companies and corporates.
Me a re ntse re ngwana le ene Nkobolo o supile gore ena na batla go boela ko rata a yo nna ko ya no re mo processing ya gore re dire dithulaganyo tsa gore a ye gone ko rapa ko ile ngoro tla ba khona go share dikgwetlho tsotlhe tsa hitileng ka tsona tse di monate le tse di botlhoko gore bana ba khona ba tlhaloganye gore botshelo ba athlete bontse ja.
Manake further unveiled the duo of 400-meter national athlete Amantle Montsho and former Zebra striker Diphetogo Selolwane as the brand ambassadors.
The engagement of Amantle Montsho comes at a perfect timing as the government of Botswana has been advocating for the involvement of women in different industries. Let me also harness the Amantle Montsho choice was influenced by her achievements and the existing gender equity gap in the sports fraternity.
That I would love to contribute to help. For me, that speaks volumes. I think that's the Botswana we are all striving to have. At some point, we should want to give back, one way or the other.
The Orapa Half Marathon is expected to be held on the 25th of November at Itegan Stadium. Tlamelo Munsusi, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
And finally, in tennis news, AC Molefe put up a sterling performance in the first round of the ongoing J60 Gaborone ITF World Tennis Tour as he defeated South Africa's Luke Bosman in straight sets to move on to the boys' singles second round. The tournament is used by junior players from around the globe to battle for points towards their ITF World Rankings. Ryan Khengonyani has more.
AC Molefe, who came into the clash ranked 1,860 in the World Juniors, knew that victory in the first round would ensure that he joins another local player, Katlego Regweng, in the second round on Wednesday. The opening set proved to be a tough affair as they traded points until the 10th game at 5 up. However, Molefe managed to buckle down to take the next 2 points to capture the set 7-5. In the second set, Molefe took control of the match as Bosman looked to be bothered by the left-hand injury he sustained in the first set. The local lad never eased off to take the set 6-love and move on to the next round.
I didn't play the way I wanted to, but I won and yes, I could have played better. I'm going to try to change the things that went wrong today and apply them tomorrow. In the first set, he got injured in his left hand, his dominant hand. So I just started using that to my advantage.
Molefe will take on Australia's Finlay Dyer in the second round on Wednesday after he defeated Maxime Mehik of South Africa in straight sets of 6-2 and 6-4 in another first round clash on Monday. Ryan Khengonyani, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
And that is it for sport this hour. I'll be back again tomorrow right here on BTV News, DSTV channel 289. In the meantime, Olibile Samoka is standing by to give us the backs. Right, so I hope you know that we are not sleeping, actually. It's happening? A night vigil. All our hearts are in Cairo, Egypt.
Oh, yeah. For the bid. Waiting and hoping for the best.
Yes, of course.
Let's meet again tomorrow. And with that, let's take a look at stories that were making headlines. The president wraps up his 3-day visit to Germany with a tour of leading mechanical engineering companies. Members of Parliament from Southern Africa get together in Gaborone to discuss the effects of climate change. And the Mets a step closer to qualifying for WAFCON 2024 after beating Gabon 6-0. Well, that is all we had for you. Do stay with us.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather forecast. My name is Paul Victoria Hosam. Let's start by looking at the rainfall amounts recorded this morning at 8 a.m. 1 millimeter at Khari and Masunga Primary School, 0.5 millimeters at Lambakwena Primary School, and 0.2 millimeters at Matsiluje Primary School. The satellite imagery is showing mostly fine conditions across much of the country. For tomorrow, we're expecting some cloudy conditions over southern, central, and northeast with possibilities of isolated thunder showers. And partly cloudy conditions over southern, southeast, Gauteng, and Kweneng with possibilities of isolated thunder showers. But for the bulk of the country, mostly fair conditions are expected. In the mornings, we're expecting some very cold temperatures over southern Khanti and southern district, ranging between 4 degrees over Good Hope to 6 degrees Celsius. But for Khanti, northern Kalahari, southern southeast Gauteng and Kweneng, we're expecting some cold temperatures and mild temperatures over Ngami land and parts of central, warm temperatures over southern central, northeast and Chobe district. As the day continues, we're mostly expecting some warm, mild temperatures across much of the country, ranging between 23 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius, and warm temperatures over Ngami land and northern central, but hot temperatures over Chobe. Looking at the active wildfires, as indicated by the red color, is showing active wildfires are continuing to burn over many parts of Botswana. The fire danger index has reduced down to dangerous to very dangerous conditions, but still the public is advised to handle fire with caution. For SADC cities, we're expecting Appleton and Cape Town to have some fine skies, partly cloudy conditions with possibilities of isolated thunder showers over Johannesburg, possibility of rain over Port Elizabeth, Maseru, and Manzini. As for Lusaka and Harare, we're expecting some partly cloudy conditions. For Beira, fine skies with highs of 33. Antananarivo, partly cloudy conditions with highs of 22. But for Windhoek, we're mostly expecting some fine skies with highs of 24. For Dar es Salaam, Blantyre, Kinshasa, and Luanda, we're mostly expecting some partly cloudy conditions with highs of 35 at Kinshasa and 30 at Luanda. That is all I had for you tonight. Have yourself a wonderful night.